Good morning, students. Let us discuss some more questions from the chapter Tissues. Name the animal tissue which is present in the larynx. In the larynx, the tissue that is present is stratified squamous epithelium. Write the chemical constituents of this tissue. Stratified squamous epithelial tissue. The cells of the epithelial tissue are made up of phospholipids that contain specific proteins. What function does squamous epithelial tissue perform? Squamous epithelial tissue cells protect the cells that are present below this epithelial tissue from drying, from injuries, from bacterial and viral infections, and from the effect of harmful chemicals. Write a short note on different types of meristematic tissues. What is meristematic tissue? Meristematic tissues are the dividing tissues. The cells of the meristematic tissues are having the ability to divide. There are three types of meristematic tissues. They are apical meristems, intercalary meristems, and lateral meristems. Apical meristems and intercalary meristems both together are referred as primary meristems because they are formed from the time of germination of the plant itself. So, from the primary period onwards they are present, so they are primary meristems. Lateral meristems are formed after certain growth of the plant, not by the time of germination itself. So, they are called secondary meristems. And lateral meristems are present only in dicot plants. In monocot plants, lateral meristems are generally absent. Coming to each meristem separately. Apical meristems. As the name suggests, apex means peak or the tip. The meristems which are present at the growing tips of the stems and roots in the plants, and these meristems they cause the increase in the length of the stem and root. Intercalary meristems, they are present between the mature regions of the plants, between two leaves, between two nodes, like between the mature regions of the plant they are present. But where exactly they are present? They are present at the base of the leaves, at the base of the internodes. So they are present at the bases especially. And they cause the longitudinal growth of the plant. Longitudinal means tips of the plants are growing by the apical meristems. And what about the intermediate length between the tips, whatever the region is present, that is grown by intercalary meristems. And lateral meristems, they are present on the lateral sides of the stems and roots in dicot plants, and they cause the increase in the girth size of the stems and roots in the dicot plants. Describe the structure and function of tracheids and vessels. Tracheids and vessels are the components of xylem. Tracheids are long tubular structures in xylem, and these are formed by the dead cells with lignified walls, and they have tapering or pointed ends. So simply to speak, tracheids are formed of sclerenchymatous cells. Vessels also are one of the components of xylem. These are very long tube-like structures, and these are formed by a row of cells which are placed end to end. Tracheids and vessels provide mechanical support and they conduct water and mineral salts. Describe the characteristics of parenchyma. Parenchyma is one of the simple permanent tissues, and it is the most common simple permanent tissue in plants. It has very little specialization. The ground tissue, the bulk of the plant tissue is made up of ground tissue, and this ground tissue of the plants is mostly filled with parenchyma. The cells of parenchyma have dense protoplasm. Since the cells of parenchyma are involved in various important activities of the plant body, they need dense protoplasm. So, cells of parenchyma have dense protoplasm. When protoplasm is present in cell, then such cell is known as living cell. All the cells of the parenchyma are of same diameter. Means mostly they are of same size. Iso means same diameter. So they are having same diameter. So the cells of parenchyma are isodiametric. The cell walls of the parenchyma cells are thin, and the cell walls of parenchymatous cells are made up of cellulose, only cellulose, right? In the case of Sclerenchyma, the cell walls are made up of cellulose and suberin. In case of Sclerenchyma, the cell walls are made up of cellulose and lignin also. Whereas in the case of parenchyma, the cell walls are made up of only cellulose, and the cell walls are generally thin. And the cells are loosely packed with large intercellular spaces. In between the cells, there is large gap because the cells are loosely packed. Okay, right. And next, briefly describe the complex permanent tissues of a plant body. Xylem and phloem are the two complex permanent tissues. Right? Xylem is made up of 4 components, as well as phloem also is made up of 4 components. What are the 4 components of xylem and phloem? The 4 components of xylem are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. And xylem is involved in water and mineral transport. And the transport that is carried out by xylem is unidirectional transport, only from roots to the leaves, only from bottom to top, never ever in reverse direction. Phloem is made up of 4 components. They are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Like how xylem is involved in water and mineral transport, phloem is involved in food transport. Whereas unlike xylem transport, phloem transport is bidirectional transport. When the plant is having full of leaves, then the transport by phloem is downward direction, and when there are no leaves, all leaves got shed off, then the phloem transport will be upward direction. Right. Next, describe the characteristics of sclerenchyma. The cells of sclerenchyma are dead cells, and they are having thick lignified cell walls. Cells are without any protoplasm, that means they are dead cells. The cells are long and narrow with very thick cell walls. Okay, very thick cell walls, so that as the cell wall thickness increases, inside the cell the lumen size will be decreasing. So they are narrow in size, and the lignin present in the cell walls acts as cement. Okay, the lignin present in the cell wall acts as cementing substance between the cells, so that the cells are compactly arranged and there are no intercellular spaces between the cells of the Sclerenchyma. Unlike in Parenchyma, in Sclerenchyma, intercellular spaces are almost nil because of the action of lignin. The cells are attached compactly, and lignin acts as cementing substance between the cells of the Sclerenchyma. Right? Thank you.